All right, we are officially live. Welcome everybody to tonight's edition of Talk About It Tuesday, and pretty excited tonight that I've been able to obtain. I've been after him for a while, but his travel schedule and as much as this guy works, Dave Wodka, product specialist for the brands of Brunswick, has joined us on the program tonight to talk about the brand new Columbia 300 Outlook Solid. So, Dave, how we doing tonight, brother?
Doing all right, man. Thanks for having me on, and glad we were able to work this out. I know I've had to bail a couple times on you, but it's good time now to do this, especially with that ball coming out in a couple days. And I did get to do the video of it, so definitely can talk about it a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. And what we did, we've done this the last couple of weeks when we had videos. Last week we had one of your good friends and my friends, Ish was on the program, who got to do a video, which was pretty cool. And Tommy was doing the voiceover. So he was on talking about
all
that.
his shots.
He did, and we definitely we talked about posting shots, and then we did talk a little bit on the program too about he's kind of become kind of the guy, if you will, up in Muskegon for refitting you guys. So I think he took a lot of credit for your success in your league right now, where you're 240. And he was trying to give out your locker combo, but he couldn't remember the last number on it. But no, he did a really good session last week. So before we start, we'll get your impressions on it, Dave, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put the video up here. So kind of get the introduction here, but you're going to see Dave is the one that's actually throwing this in the video. So it's a pretty good one. So let me fire this up real quick here, get it up onto the screen and give you guys a full screen so you can see it.
Columbia 300's anticipated follow-up release, the Outlook Solid. The Outlook performed great on medium to dry lanes, and the new Outlook Solid fills a gap in the Columbia 300 line by giving you a strong, solid, symmetric ball. The Outlook Solid will excel on medium to heavier oil conditions and be an excellent benchmark for the Columbia 300 fans. The Outlook Solid uses the Exciter Max Solid cover stock finished at 500, 1000, 2000 SIA air. This surface is perfect for a wide range of player styles and medium to heavy oil conditions. With an RG of 2.533 and a differential of 0.47, the Outlook Solid will be a middle-of-the-road, dependable benchmark in the Columbia 300 lineup. Compared to the original, you'll see more overall hook, enabling you to move deeper into the oil. The Outlook Solid will be available in your local pro shop starting December 3rd. For more information on the Outlook Solid and other Columbia 300 products, follow us on our social media pages and visit us at Columbia300.com.
All right. Really, really good video, to be honest with you, Dave. And I don't have to worry about you posting shots. I have to wonder the last time you fell off one, actually. So it's kind of different when I'm talking to the two different guys here. But great first impressions, great shelf appeal on this one. But talk us through a little bit, Dave. Obviously, I'm not sure how much you got to take this on the lanes before the video shoot, but first impressions outside the video.
Well, that was actually the first day I threw it, was for the video. So I got my first impressions right there while we were doing the video. It's definitely, as you heard in the video, it's definitely a benchmark ball. It's your strong, symmetric, kind of read the pattern, let you know what's going on. You can see in the video too, the one thing I was really impressed by it was how it went through the pins. You really see, you can tell really when a ball goes through the pins, right, because it's running over the 8-pin for a right-hander or running over the 9-pin for a left-hander. And, that's what I saw out of it, was my first impression. And I also, the place that we did the video at, and it's also where we bowl league at, they're a little bit cliffed. That's anybody that's followed our trials and tribulations of our league knows they're pretty cliffed there. But the one thing I noticed is when you could see it in the video too, even when I did get it right, it didn't over bounce off of that. So it actually blended out that cliff for me real nicely.
Right. And I think it'd be a little, if you would have missed right with, let's say, the original one, I think you would have saw something a little more erratic at box finish with the original Outlook. So
correct.
Good to see the difference. Now, did you already have the original Outlook in the bag, or was that one drilled right then and there too to do the comparison?
No, I had already thrown that one. That was I had drilled that one when it first came out, so I still had it
Okay.
at the office and just pulled it back out to do the video with. So I kind of had an idea what that was going to do, which made it even better for the video because I was able to make a really good comparison because I probably had 10 games, 8 to 10 games on the Outlook. I hadn't thrown it a lot, but I had enough games on it to know what it was going to do.
Right. Which makes sense. Similar layouts for you? Are you one of the guys that generally drills the first one, favorite layout type wise? So these were pretty close.
Correct. They're always the same. And I know Ishman's in the chat. He, as you've referred to, as my ball driller. So if anybody wants to know the exact angles, he can type them in the chat.
Yeah, we'll see if Rain Man can remember him off the top of his head. I mean, it's
he can.
I gotta
know
write
he
him.
can.
I gotta write them down. I think I drill for too many people. There's no way I'm remembering them all. But yeah, he's got a lot of time on his hands there to remember that stuff. But so Sherman Lanes, obviously your bowling league there, your Overcliff stuff. You've speaking of which, I mean, you've been hitting that house shot pretty well.
It's been okay. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
After the first week, I mean, we the first week was subpar at best.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Dave decided the first week to do a little, little fun with some of the staff and stuff, and guess my score type thing. And I've been there, man. I've had the backfires on that. Usually, it backfires really bad for me when it's like, okay, what is Carrie going to have versus what Jeff's going to have? Who's going to win? Blah blah blah. And then I get a piece of humble pie because everybody says, well, Carrie's going to win, which she averages more than me. She's a better player. And
as long as she
bowls 790 and I bowl 640. I just, she owns me in definitely in the league environment, but he doesn't have the sheet anymore. He's saying 45, 4.25 by 30. Doesn't even need it. So yeah, he's rattling it off. I mean, that's, we got to give him some credit on that. If it's a benchmark, layout, for yourself, Dave, I'm pretty sure he's probably spot on with that one.
Yeah, those are, and that's every time we drill a ball the first time, we just do them the same. It gives me the right comparison to know ball to ball to ball what they do.
Yeah.
And then when I have them all in my bag, I know the progression. When I'm obviously, as you know, I've started to bowl tournaments again and trying to get back into it a little bit. So it's good for me to be able to know what balls go in what progression and where I'm going to go when something doesn't look right.
Right. And we hear that a lot. So obviously we do a lot of feeds here, national players, some of my staff, people from around the area. And, a lot of the same thing is said, when we're drilling bowling balls and new releases come out, a lot of times most players are going to go after what they refer to as their benchmark layout or something they're familiar with. And they kind of let the bag or the ball manufacturer differentiate the shapes by having something aesthetically that matches up with their eye. And it makes the progressions easier, just like you said. Now, on top of it, you got 7 brands, that you can choose from and stuff. So you got a multitude of motions you can pick from, something that's, earlier to later to, if you're lacking ball motion, it's, I said this on the feed last night. I was talking to Jason Jeffries. I said, look, if I ever come to you and say I had bad ball motion, okay, punch me, because
it's you.
I need to say it's me. I have any shape that I could possibly think of. We spoke a lot last night about, accountability and understanding and taking ownership of when it's you and it's not, something else, and learning from those things. So, but it's resonating. It's the same thing. I'm talking to yourself. Whether I talk to you or Andrew Anderson or Parker, same thing. It's get that layout in there, get a read on it. And then if you're going to drill multiples of that ball or for different environments, a lot of times we'll just, pin to paps and stuff if we need it to be a little stronger. Want it to read the front of the lane a little more. So very good stuff on there. We got a ton of comments. Dave, you're a popular guy, man. We got a ton of comments coming through here all the time, and we'll make sure that we scroll up and down here as we're talking through this and make sure we answer as many of those as we can. I'm sure I'll get at least one angry face when I miss somebody. I usually get a good one of those a night. I get the angry face because I didn't get to their question, but we do try to answer as many as we do. And if we do miss one on the feed here, generally I'll go back and I'll answer it for you. But so Dave, we're talking about the Outlook Solid, great addition to the bag. Before I ask you a couple other questions, because you talked about, getting back into bowling a little bit, and I want to talk through that. But what, right now, you have all these options that are in there. First and foremost is, the outlook is that filling a current hole for you in there, and where's it kind of fitting in your bag right now, and what else are you really liking?
So what I would tell you, making the transition through the acquisition of the brands of Brunswick, purchasing the brands from Ebonite International, obviously I had an arsenal there and have spent the last 10 months kind of retooling that arsenal, as well as, like you said, getting back into bowling.
Mhm.
And where I would say the outlook solid kind of for me is going to replace the game breaker.
Okay.
It's kind of that game breaker-ish type motion. Being very honest, I never was a huge fan of game breakers for me personally. I'm one of the few people that it wasn't my benchmark ball. But I would tell you that the outlook solid kind of fits in that range. It's going to allow you to read the pattern. It's going to blend out the back of the pattern. So you're not going to get that big over under front to back. More so than left to right. You're not going to get that big over under front to back.
Right. Right. For you, is this one obviously the solid version here, box surface, no altercation in the video probably, but did you touch this one afterwards, to keep it in the bag?
I have not. I actually bowled a little sweeper on Sunday here, and I actually threw it the first probably game and a half of it, because again, it is that kind of benchmark, see what the pattern's doing, and then I went away from it. Now, for me personally, I probably will take the surface down a little bit, maybe 3,000 or 4,000. Just so it's not quite as mid lane for me. And I only say that because for me, as you know, and I'm sure you'll take a few jabs at me like you usually do, my ball speed's a little slower now that I'm a little older. So I tend to need to not have quite as much surface on it. Uh-oh. Did we lose the feed? Yeah, I'm reading a couple of the comments. It looks like Jeff is frozen. Okay, thanks. I guess I'm still there. So I'll try to talk to a few of you guys while Jeff gets back on here. I wasn't sure who froze. Yeah, I apparently I made Jeff froze up there. See if I can scroll up through some of the comments here and address a couple of them. Let's see. I can start. Dominic asked about building a 6-ball arsenal around the outlook solid, and what would you personally add to round it out? For me right now, again, being that ball's kind of in the middle, if I was to go down, I certainly would have a tempo in my bag from track, and probably a latitude pearl would be my symmetric pearl. And then going the other way, I'm a big fan of the dynamic swing for kind of a little bit stronger ASIM. And then if I had to pick a pearl ASIM and a solid ASIM, as most of you know that have talked to me at all in the last month, the Strata would certainly be the #1 ball. And then something down from that, maybe a Redemption hybrid would probably be the next one. So that would probably be a 6-ball arsenal to round out there. Let's see. Looks like Jeff got back in there.
Dave, I'm trying. I lost my internet connection, believe it or not. Which
no worries.
So
no
I might be
worries.
clicking in and out. I'm on my phone right now, but I will. I'm trying to restore what's going on with my laptop here.
No worries. I'll keep the folks entertained. I'm just trying to read through some of the questions. Brian Garland, what surface do you look?
I got so much feedback going on.
Brian Garland asked, surface on the outlook solid.
Dave, just
probably
keep talking there. I will be back on as soon as I can.
Yep, no worries. Gotcha. Brian, probably looking at taking it down to like 3,000 ish, just so it's not so mid lane. Like I mentioned, Terry Mize, any chance of a re-release of the Raid or anything similar? That one I don't know. That's a pretty high diff ball, so I don't know that there's anything in the pipeline exactly like that. Don Webster, in your opinion, why is the Black Widow such an iconic ball to this day? I think it got off to a really good start 15 years ago. That ball's been out 15 years now. And it's just a really good ball. I've always said this is kind of a cliche, but good ball motion is good ball motion. And when you have good ball motion, like the Black Widow is, you don't mess with it. You refine it and you keep updating it based on the current environment of bowling, whether it's the lane surfaces or the lane oils or anything like that. And from what I can see out of the Black Widow 2.0 is it is a Black Widow in today's environment. And everybody I've talked to that's thrown it says the same thing about it. I see a lot of them going down the lane already. So I think we got another winner in a Black Widow there. Jeff, are you back?
I'm officially back. Our house just decided to just completely dump all the Wi-Fi in the house. So that was fun. Anyway, I'm back, and it sounded like you were answering a question about a Widow 2.0. So my apologies for breaking out there, but I think where I last heard what you were talking about the outlook and the surface and the things you were doing with that, and it sounds like you jumped into a question. So where did you kind of leave off there, Dave?
I answered Dominic's question about the 6-ball arsenal and building that, where I would build it around that. Obviously, getting up into the higher end balls. I talked a little bit about the strata, and there's been a couple comments in there for the people that do follow me a little bit, and my love affair with the strata, I guess you might call it right now. It's definitely the number one ball out of my bag if there's any oil on the lane at all.
Yeah, it's pretty special. I didn't actually I didn't drill one for myself. I drilled quite a few of them for customers now. And it's another one of those balls that has, with the asymmetry to it, still has no problem getting through the front part of the lane. Just none. But it sees the body of the lane perfectly. And for me, I think it may be one that I actually end up adding to the bag just because, I never have been a huge fan of the super early asymmetrical pieces just because of the, ball roll and stuff. But that one looks pretty special.
And I think the biggest thing for me on that one is like you said, for a big solid asim, it's not early. It doesn't bog down in the mid lane. And honestly, I mean, I've thrown mine, the ball's pretty new, and mine's probably got 60 games on it already. And as it's gotten a little bit of lane shine on it, it's actually gotten even better.
Yeah. That's always a good feeling there when it's one that you don't have to feel like you got to go after the cover or, the more games you get on it, the better. I mean, I'm kind of that way with the Web Tour Hybrid. And I was that way with the Web Tour because, as, out of the box, I mean, they chirp a little out of the box and then they kind of, get a little lane shine on there and they just get better and better and better. And, we talk about it on the feed all the time. I mean, aesthetically, it's really about the player. And how these balls match up to them. I mean, I know a lot of questions are coming through, the 7 brands and how do you choose? And, really that's where it comes down to talking to a good pro shop operator and, getting them to work with you to pick which one of those makes the most sense for you. I mean, all of us on here are guilty. Every time we see a new bowling ball come out, we're like, whoa, man, I want that. And it's probably even before we even looked at what the numbers were, does it match up with something maybe I liked in the past that, really had good ball motion for me and it's, numbers are kind of similar and stuff. I mean, those things are important. And, we talk about it all the time, work with your local pro shops if you're not close enough to me and answer those questions. And by all means, Dave, myself, we joked around, Ishman. I mean, Chuck was on here earlier, we answer questions all the time, to help you out. If you give us a little bit of info, we'll do our best to try and match you up with what the best one's going to be for you. Because at the end of the day, we want you to bowl better.
Absolutely.
That's what it comes down to.
It's funny. You were talking about how you pick a ball and 7 brands, and there's something, this may sound crazy, but I know I catch myself doing it. I drill balls because I like the way they look sometimes. That's literally why I drilled the Strata the first time. I pulled that ball out of the box and I went, wow, this ball is really cool looking. So I drilled it, and it just sometimes it's also what matches up with what your eye sees on the lane too.
Absolutely. And sometimes that comes down to color, folks. And I mean, I'm a big one for that. There's some people that love to see the balls with a lot of phasing or a lot of color. I'm the polar opposite. Like, the balls that have a super array of colors in them, sometimes I feel like I can't see them correctly. And maybe it's just that I don't want to see them because then I don't know how bad I threw it. I throw a really good one. I was like, why'd that look different? Well, it's because the next one wasn't very good. But when they're a solid color bowling ball, they all look pretty good. So if I'm bowling league, I don't have to see that. I can't see the phases of the bowling ball. So it actually works out well. Here's one I think Don asked for the second time. So I'm going to put it up here. So if you could bowl action, Dave, against any current bowler, who would it be? Dave's answer is me, because it'd be like having a bye.
No, if I could bowl action against any bowler right now, I'd probably have to call out my best friend and roommate of 25 years. I'd have to tell Jason Couch to shoe up.
Yeah, that would definitely be some interesting, some camaraderie and some jabbing going back and forth. That's for sure.
Yeah, there definitely would be, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
And it looked like Jason was doing a little bowling.
He has
just won like a 5-person team event or something. I think I was seeing the other day. So
yeah, I mean, he was pretty bummed about the PBA 50 not going this year, since he was going to be a rookie on the PBA 50 this year. So
there's somebody else that's going to be a rookie on the PBA 50 at some point in the not so distant future. It's the guy wearing his hat backwards with the Ebonite logo on it. It's not me, even though the hair's white and gray.
I was going to say, you sure you're not 50 yet?
Man, I wish I was. It would start matching the color tones of the hair that I get roasted on every day for. But you know what? It's the hair's not coming out. The hair's going to stay there. So it's I'm not balding. So I got one thing on my side there.
Well, I'm in the same boat. That's actually why I have a hat on, because I haven't been able to go get a haircut in a couple of weeks. So.
Same here. Today was my first day out of jail, as you know, or out of timeout from COVID. So I spent that by being in the center for 9 hours trying to get ready to open back up. So definitely overdue for a haircut, but that's not on the agenda tomorrow, because we're going to start our demo series here, which is going to be floating around Pennsylvania, Maryland, Delaware, and then obviously there's sets in other states and stuff if you're coming from somewhere else. But that's going to kick off tomorrow as well. So pretty cool stuff on the horizon.
Yeah, anybody that's in here that is in the Northeast, go to Facebook and check out our Brands of Brunswick demo page, the Northeast, Brands of Brunswick Northeast demo events. We've actually got about 25 events scheduled between now and January 17th already. So we're definitely rocking and rolling full time on that, and looking to get these products out there. We all internally know how good these products are. We want to make sure we get to the customers and to the consumers and make sure they understand how good they are as well.
Yeah, and I think demos are a really great time to do that, because for instance, right now, I mean, just speaking honestly here, I mean, the Widow 2.0 right now is probably the most talked about ball in any of our brands, right? But we have a lot of really good bowling balls that came out from our other 6 brands outside of Hammer as well, kind of at the same drop. And we want to make sure that we don't get those overlooked, because again, depending on what you're looking for shape wise, it might be a better option, or get 2, just get the one you really need, and then get the 2.0 because you'll want it, or the MB. So a lot of really good stuff out there. And, a lot of these centers or pro shops and stuff, I think, they might charge $10-15, but then if you buy the ball, a lot of the guys will take it off your purchase price and stuff. So, I mean, it's a great way to get a baseline to see how it rolls for you. And the spans, there's 3 different spans that are in there. You can get it close enough that you can get an idea shape wise. It's all our hands are different, but if you haven't done it before, I just encourage it. And like Dave said, go check out our Facebook page on that. And depending on what region you are, there's one set up for multiple regions out west. Ishman just put his up the other day, so I know they're floating around there.
Yeah, I know Mike Dole's got his. He's just about done building his, and his should be launching pretty soon for the lower Midwest and Southwest as well.
Mm-hmm. I think Brandon put this up a second time, so I don't want to miss out on your question here, Brandon. Dynamic Core, is it going to be used in all new releases except for the Hammer brand?
No, I don't think that's the case. I think Dynamic Core will be used across. Well, Hammer has the carbon fiber, so Dynamic Core being a little different, we're not going to put both of them in there. Hammer is going to stick with carbon fiber, but I think Dynamic Core will eventually be across the rest of the brands. Again, that's a question I don't truly know the answer to at this point. That's kind of R&D plus marketing and what they decide to do with the brands going forward.
Right. And, it has started to branch out, as you saw. I mean, Radical started putting Dynamic Core in a few balls and stuff, and, depending on what they're trying to do with it. So, it's branched to the other ones, but we get a lot of questions about dot technology and why aren't we just putting it in every single ball? And that really comes down to, folks, it's, how the molds are and how long the technology, we're obviously not going to take a Widow and put dot technology on a Widow because just how that core placement is. It really comes down to how it was designed and engineered, and then being able to purposely do that down at the factory and not completely redo all the molds and stuff. So where it makes sense, dot technology is definitely going to be used. And it gets used a lot in new product development that is, maybe we're working on right now that's going to launch, a couple months down the road. If it's an older core or something like that, you're really not going to see us make the transition. It just doesn't make a lot of sense.
Correct.
But Dynamic Core is good stuff, Brandon. I know you are enjoying those balls, but they distinctly they sound different, right? They do. They sound different when they hit the pins. But all right, let's get a couple other questions here. Dom, I'm putting this up here because you're right. I do have hair. Dom's one of my teammates on Monday night. You know him pretty well now. I think, Dave, you got to meet him when we were throwing the arrow.
Yes.
Rick Graham is saying, Dave is turning 50. You're feeling really old. Rick, that is because you are old.
That is a fact. Here, little known fact about Rick Graham and then the connection to myself. Rick Graham and my mom were on Team USA the same year when they went to Helsinki, Finland in 1987.
Pretty awesome. And Rick he's thrown it the same way since then. He's still got voodoo roll. We all can't replicate it, but he's, I laugh when I first started getting the ability to, Rick is one of my staffers here. And when he first came, I looked at his gear and everything had 1.5 inch pins. And I'm like, Rick, how the hell are you this good? How do you have every ball in your bag's got 1.5 inch pin? The longest one's 2 inches and you're just running them over. So, we've kind of expanded on that a little bit, and Rick's been bowling really well. He's definitely a tough competitor. Couple other ones here. Don Webster, what are you asking here? Dave, what do you think about the PBA using dual oil patterns this season?
I don't necessarily have a problem with it. I think it definitely makes for more of a challenge. It makes you think a little bit more. It makes you a little less prone to maybe getting into a really good rhythm because you're doing something different on both lanes every other shot. So it definitely makes it more of a challenge. I don't necessarily have a problem with it. I know you followed that up and said, should that be the future of all bowling tournaments? I don't think it should be all the time, but I don't necessarily have a problem with it once in a while. Yeah, and I feel the same way about certain formats too that we use on the PBA. I don't think all formats should be used, all one format all the time. I think there should be a variety, and some of them I think are okay for certain events, but shouldn't be used all the time.
Yeah. And I like to see a little disparity there too. And, the two patterns and stuff. I mean, while it's fun, I wouldn't want to personally do that all the time either. I have a hard enough time on one pattern. But, if you can't tell, we're pretty sarcastic people. So, it's, you just gotta have a little bit of fun with it. But, I think the thing out there on tour is, they're trying to just keep it fresh and keep changing it. And as they try to really grow, the PBA tour back up. And I really honestly feel Bolero's, has done a lot already for us. And, the deal with Fox Sports and, getting us into the limelight here in a little bit and really thinking that we're trending in the right direction when it comes to the Pro Tour. And I'm excited. I know I'm going to ask Dave a little bit here and about how excited he is to actually start competing out in the Raisin Tour, if you will. But I'm excited to I'm excited to get back on the lanes. A couple feeds ago, we were talking. I'm really hoping that the Masters doesn't get delayed again because I'm going to go out and bowl. I'm looking forward to it. I'm finally healthy and I want to compete. I want to prove to myself that I can still mix it up a little bit. But
you have no idea how loudly I laughed when you texted me and asked if I was going to bowl the Masters.
Hey, you never, you started bowling a bunch, so it wasn't. I didn't feel like it was far fetched. I thought maybe we'd see you out there, and plus, you
let me see. Pay 500 to bowl against Andrew Anderson and Bill O'Neill and Tommy Jones, or wait 3 months and pay 500 to bowl against Parker and Amleto and Bob Learn. I don't know which one.
I don't know which one. I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, is it really, man, I feel like Parker should be on here and Bob should be on here to back themselves up. I think they might want to match with some of these young kids, but no, I mean, obviously I understand it. It's different.
There was some sarcasm there, by the
way. just a little bit. And plus, I guess Jason will be bowling too. So you get to bowl with, Jason will, he's only won a couple TOCs back to back. So, good luck in your action match there too, pal. Make sure you live stream it. If you need me to come and stream it, I'll come do it for you.
Just depends on what center we bowl in. If I pick the center, he can't beat me.
Yeah. Another one. Who's running the Midwest? Is that where Blanchard took over?
No, I assume he was asking about demos because it was that
demo.
question
Okay.
came in. So that would be, he was in Iowa. That would be John Bercier, and I would assume he's got his page. Should be up and running soon, and his guys going around doing demos. So keep an eye out for that.
Okay. Yep, I wasn't sure which one because I know they just had a change out west with Blanchard taking over region. So
for the PBA, correct?
The PBA, yeah. Terry Mize, any purple releases, buddy? We know you love those purple balls, and you may have won back-to-back weeks with them. Terry Mize is a lefty out of Baltimore area. His wife, I had his wife on the program a week and a half ago because I'd rather talk to his wife, but Terry won back-to-back weeks. He was throwing the purple hammer. I have a term that I call my lefty staffers who bowl for me, and they're lefty sewer rats, especially if they bowl in my building. So his nickname is Master Splinter now. So, I'm getting going back to my youth of Ninja Turtles. So he's Splinter, but bowling well.
To answer your question, Terry, we'll just say there's a better than average chance of that at some point.
Yeah, and he could be messing with you and just another purple ball. He might not mean a purple hammer,
He only asked if there was a purple release.
Exactly. And you answered as honestly as possible. I get it.
My guess is there will be a ball that's purple.
Yeah, Jacob Kerstetter coming to us. I believe he's Allentown area. What ball in the market today is closest to the Ebonite 1 Pearl?
So ball motion wise, I would tell you probably a Proof Pearl would probably be the closest thing to it ball motion wise. While those cores are completely different shapes and whatever, I just for my eye seeing the ball go down the lane, that would probably be the one I would say would be the closest. Would be a Proof Pearl.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good choice. Yeah, I don't have any other ones that are really coming off the top of my head, especially in a Pearl version right now. We got a lot of really, really good hybrids and stuff. On
I was just say Omni Hybrid's probably not far off.
It's a hybrid, but that's where I was going with that. Maybe maybe a little closer to that, but maybe not quite as clean. Maybe not quite as fast off the spot either.
Yeah, that's kind of why I thought the Proof Pearl's a little closer.
Yeah, Hansel, he's coming in here. Wants to know what's in the glass. Yeah. It's diet Pepsi. That's what we're having. It in a Labatt Blue Cup.
We got a little Knob Creek today. I know that's always the $1 million question every time I'm on.
And it's okay. It's after hours, and this is we're just talking bowling. So
it is.
I don't have he's got the bar set up down there beside him. I have to actually walk in the other room to the to try to get some alcoholic beverages, but I'm going to stick to the Diet Coke. It's been a long day. So Dave, let's talk a little bit. So obviously, I know you're pretty excited about it. I know 49 years old now. We can say that because we know you're PBA 50 is just around the corner for you. So we don't have to rag on the age or anything. But what are you looking forward to with that? And do you have kind of goals and expectations with it?
Goals for sure. I always have goals. Obviously, I have a full-time job as a product specialist for Brunswick, so it's not like I'm going to be able to bowl full-time when I do turn 50, but I promise I will bowl as many PBA regionals as I can. PBA 50 regionals. I'm going to, my plan is to at least try to bowl a couple of the PBA 50 majors and anything that might be in my territory that I can work into a work trip. Our goals, yeah, I certainly want to at least win a PBA 50 regional in the first year, if not multiple. I'd like to get to 25 regional titles total. So I need to win four more to get to that number. So I do have goals. I really had kind of been almost out of competitive bowling for really almost 3 years after taking the promotion at EBI and then the acquisition here and then everything getting shut down. And but thanks to a couple bowling a little bit over the summer with Adam Ishman and talking to him, and we just decided it was time for a complete overhaul and fit change. And we basically started over. We literally threw every bowling ball I had in the dumpster and started over from zero. Changed the grip, changed pitches. I put inserts in a ball for the first time since 1987. So I'm probably about 3.5 months into this. I think we changed my grip in August, so I'm about 3.5 months into it. And I feel really good. My physical game feels good. I feel comfortable again. My ball speed's back up a little bit. I did drop back down to 15 pounds as well when we did this. So a lot of different things went into it, and I'm excited about doing some competitive bowling again. I got one more under 50 tournament that I get to bowl. Couch and I get to bowl the over/under PBA doubles one more time in Akron in January before I do turn 50. And then I'll look forward to competing as much as I can next year. Obviously it won't be full time, but with traveling for work and being in the territory, hopefully things get back opened up like we all want them to. And hopefully I'll be able to compete as much as I can. I've started to kind of get that competitive nature back a little bit, and I miss it. I've been away from it long enough. I miss it. I'm ready to bowl again.
That's the key word that you just said there. And I think that clicks for so many people is when you kind of fall, I don't want to say fall out of love with the game. I don't think you probably ever fell out of love with the game. Maybe you fell out of love with the competition portion of it a little bit. But when you finally find that love or that thing that kind of sparked you, in the past, and you kind of harness that and you get that hunger back inside you, that's what's, going to drive you. And it's different for every player. I mean, obviously, you bowled on a tour for a lot of years, Dave. I double checked the stats just to see it. So, just to see where you're at. I mean, you had a couple really good years, even the early 2010, 2011, 2012 was pretty much I think a pretty good span for you there.
Yeah, I finished in the top 20 on the point list as like in 2014 or 15, maybe.
Yeah.
I was still in the top 20 on the point list. I had a pretty good year. I was part of the PBA league for 6 years, which was awesome.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of, it's weird. I got that promotion and literally just didn't bowl. I don't remember the exact number of weeks, but it was something like 4 months after I got the promotion that I literally didn't put my hand in a ball. I didn't bowl league. I did nothing for 4 months. And at that point I was ready to kind of get back into it. And then I went and bowled a couple times and it was so frustrating. I'm like, yeah, screw this. I just, I didn't have the time to put in the effort to work myself back out of that.
Yeah. Yeah. And like I said, every situation's different. I mean, it's just, now's the time. And now that you're learning to, or wanting to love it and you miss it, and you want to compete, you got that competitive juice. It's time to turn it on, brother. I mean, and I'm not greasing your gears because you're on the feed here tonight, but I've gotten to, I crossed pretty close to you a couple times, and, got to see a bowl in Columbus, Akron area. I feel like I'm probably missing a couple other regionals in the areas here. And it's, and it, you're throwing it good. I mean, and honestly, like, just, confidence, posting shots. And yes, we're going to burn you, Ishman. Dave post shots if you're still on here. He doesn't fall off of them, but, you can tell that it's, it's never like riding a bike, but you can tell that the want is there. So I'm looking forward to following along with it and seeing, where the 50 takes you. But like I say, good luck with going after those guys like Parker and Learn and Couch. And, you're just it's going to be like bringing back your youth again. And now you get these guys are still going to be out there trying to kick you in the teeth.
Well, I mean, I couldn't beat them 25 years ago. Hopefully I can beat them now.
Yeah, you're getting closer. Like once they get up into the 60 range there and the legs start going, you're going to have a good window there for probably like 3 to 6 years where, these guys are starting to get older. And, if you keep yourself, I know you're a pretty into, staying in shape and, trying to keep that aspect going. But, if keep staying young and, I think you'll definitely hit those goals out there. I don't think there's any parts of that won't come true.
I appreciate that. I'm definitely looking forward to giving it a shot.
Yeah. And I am watching these here, up on here. Dom wants to know, because you said Dom's a big drinker too, but he wants to know if you ever had the smoked maple from Knob Creek.
I have not yet. Actually, one of our other product specialists, Tyler Armour, brought me a bottle of maple infused bourbon from Vermont. So we haven't opened that one yet, but yeah, I mean, I could turn my computer around and show you the bourbon collection, but yeah, there's definitely plenty of it there.
Yeah, I'll have to, next time I see you, I'll have to show you. Actually, I could probably send it to you in a video. My one buddy saying Sam, he's not a bowler, a good friend of mine from back in college, and his wife is not happy about this, but he has an entire room, and it's dedicated to this huge tree of bourbons that he has mapped out on a timeline. And he actually, when he has it on the timeline and he finds them, he has a little stand and puts a fresh bottle up on it. It is freaking amazing.
That's awesome.
And it's probably the most expensive wall that you can possibly make. Yeah.
Oh, I can imagine.
Yeah,
bourbon's not cheap when you get into the good stuff.
No, and this is the good stuff. So I'll have to dig that photo out. You'd appreciate that one pretty much. A couple other ones in here. What was your all-time favorite ball to throw?
Ooh. Man, we just got done talking about how old I am, so there's a lot of them in there, but
it was a wooden ball with 2 fingers, Chris.
All right, let's not go that far. Come on now. I've had a few over the years. I mean, the Track 505C, I mean, I threw one of those. I had one of those that I had so many games on it turned brown. I had an Orange Eruption Pro that was the same way. We talked about the One Pearl. I had a One Pearl that was like that. They're just, I think it's more of, I don't know about favorite ball of all time, because there's always something new that comes along after that. I mean, if you ask me right now, it'd be the Strata.
Yeah.
Just because, but there's definitely, every couple years, there's a new ball that stays in my bag for 2 or 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, I think we all have those, right? I mean, I'm going back. This is back when I was with Brunswick years ago. I probably had a Versamax in my bag for probably a solid 4 straight years. I mean, that ball is just that good for me. Chelsea checking in here. A new Columbia 300 staffer this year, and staff with Pure Bowling as well. And just recently, I think she bowled 830 something the other week again. It
was a lot.
Yeah, it's way more than I can do in 3 games. That's all I know. Let's leave it at that. But
yeah, we know you need 4 games for that.
Yeah, I mean, our league averages aren't that far off now, brother. I mean, but I did get obviously I couldn't bowl last night, so my sub bowled, and Colby Bennett who goes out to McKendree now. He comes home and he bowled 796 for me last night. So,
Nice.
it works out pretty well. But Chelsea, what you asked kind of what achievement is the most special to you?
There's a couple of them. I would tell you, it's kind of a twofold thing. I think, my most coveted moment is winning my national tour title. There's nothing more at the pinnacle of our sport than that. Even if it was for 1 week or one day, I was still the best in the world for 1 week, and that won't ever get taken away. I think one of my favorite achievements is being in 2 Hall of Fames with my mom in the same Hall of Fame, in 2 different Hall of Fames. So we're both in the Southern Nevada Hall of Fame, and we're both in the Nevada State Hall of Fame, which is pretty cool. That was I got in the Nevada State Hall of Fame about 3 years ago, I think 3 or 4 years ago, and that was just pretty cool to be able to go into the same Hall of Fame that she's in.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm not at that level, but my old man was a bowler too, and unfortunately, the local association where he was in the Hall of Fame, it doesn't exist anymore. So I'm not going to have that opportunity. I'm not quite old enough to go into the Hall, believe it or not, but it's every area is kind of different rules for how that happens.
Yeah, that's Southern Nevada. I was the youngest ever to get in Southern Nevada. I got in when I was 31.
Wow, that was a long time ago, though.
Yeah, no kidding.
I mean, really, it was 18 years ago. I mean, not the.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely crazy. All right, let me go here a couple more. Believe it or not, Dave, I say this stuff all the time on the feeds. Talking over 45 minutes here, it doesn't feel like it. It just goes by so quick.
Nah.
When I talk bowling, I can go on and on and on. What do we got? Don's got a ton of questions on here, so I'm going to pick one here, Don. So. When you were a tour rep, what was the biggest challenge doing that job on tour? I don't know if that was to you, Dave, or to me.
Well, I was going to say, it wasn't to me. I never actually tour repped, other than I repped a couple times for Ebonite at the Queens back, when there actually wasn't a women's tour and we didn't have full-time reps for that. I did rep a couple times for the Queens when it was in Vegas, but other than that, that's really all the repping I ever did.
Yeah, and for my
that's a thankless job.
It is. It is a thankless job. It is. It's awesome when you get to see it on TV, and we win. But trust me that everybody else that didn't make that show, it was not all hugs and kisses and butterflies and stuff during the week. It's a rough road to make a show. Guys tour, girls tour, doesn't matter what you're doing. It's hard. It's hard, and everybody's competitive. Everybody wants to win. Everybody wants attention, and everybody just wants an answer, right? And at the end of the day, a rep, no matter who you are, is making the best educated guess that they can. Okay, we have data. We can use. We can look at numbers. We can look at the player. We can make a decision on what makes sense, but it's not always right. So it's a it's a touchy job. Let's put it that way. And with this, it can be stressful. They're very long days, but it is really rewarding too. I mean, if you're, it's awesome to be out there and getting to interact with the best players in the world. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. Like I said, it's thankless, but it's very rewarding.
Yeah. Steve Wagner, how you doing, man? Saying hi, dropping in. And for people that were saying hi earlier, Hansel, Chuck Gardner, I know Ishman, a bunch of guys on the top of the feed. Sorry I didn't say hi right away, but we are reading your comments. We're glad you guys stopped by.
Yeah, I really appreciate everybody being on tonight. This is very cool. I'm glad we were able to work this out finally.
Yeah. Well, it's honestly, it's tough, and people are probably like, man, Jeff doesn't have anything to do. He's always doing live feeds. Well, honestly, I bust my butt in order to be able to free up a little bit of time, because I really feel it's great to talk about our products and with different guests, and just learning and trying to help everybody out there. And that's with my brand, with Pure Bowling, and then the support of the brands of Brunswick. I just think we have some amazing products, and we love to talk about it, and we want to help everybody that's out there. So I love coming on here. And it's, a couple months ago, I don't know if I would have ever got into this if, wasn't shut down and COVID didn't hit us so hard, and just felt like the right thing to do. And we have some amazing guests that are, just devote their time, like Dave, like these guys are busy guys. Like if you, again,
well, never mind me. I mean, you've had Tommy Jones on, you've had Bill O'Neill on, you've had Andrew Anderson on. I mean, this is
Andrew, Parker, Shannon O'Keefe, Sanders.
Great.
It's crazy. One of these times I'll have to hit somebody up. It might be a really long feed, but I want to get Johnny on, man. I
would drop whatever I'm doing to watch that.
Yeah. I mean, it's it's a while now, back at, we were at Hal and just got to talk to Johnny for like an hour and a half that one night.
Right.
I can listen to that guy tell me stories for months on end. Like I don't need the bowl. I just want to listen to what he did. I mean, it's
right.
pretty awesome if you get a chance to ever run into that. But yeah, everybody's been more than gracious though, because everybody that's on, represents our brands and stuff here is, they just feel it, right? It's a family, and we want to see all of you out there excel in the lanes. And that's, even off the feeds, we get tons of questions, and they're great ones, and we try to answer them as many as we can. And Dave's no different. Like if you have questions about our balls, or maybe even if it's like shops maybe in your area that he would recommend, he's tied in there. He can help you, get lined up to what's in the area there for somebody that's really, tied into the brands and can be the best person to help you out. And that's huge. You have to have a good pro shop operator in your corner as well. Can't
absolutely. And listen to your pro shop operator. They know what they're doing. They're a pro shop operator for a reason. They know what they're doing. Let them help you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, who do you have coming on for Throw It Thursday this week?
Throw It Thursday this week is actually going to be DJ Zombro, obviously Columbia 300 staffer, and Carrie got this one, so she's going to be on. So definitely going to be some striking going on between those two. Chelsea is not available this week. Normally she would come on and do the Columbia balls as well. But I might try to have one additional person. I think I have a demo ball sitting there yet. A lot of times we'll take a demo ball that we have and they go out and throw it on the lanes too. It's just kind of like a third style, but it's, it's great to see the differences between the two. I was in there for almost 9 hours today, just kind of getting ready to open the floodgates again, because I'm back open. I'm a little busy. So,
yeah, that's good. I mean, we're certainly glad both of you are feeling better and ready to get back at it. This whole situation is crazy for everybody, and I do want to tell everybody out there, be safe. We all want to bowl. We all want to do what we want to do and live our lives. And I'm the same way. I want to get out and live my life too. Just be safe doing it.
Yeah. And I mean, Dave's coming to us tonight. You guys are on a pause for at least another 2 weeks. And, hopefully it doesn't.
We're supposed to open a week from tomorrow. So,
yeah. Hopefully it's a light at the end of the tunnel as well. And I mean, I know a vaccination isn't the end all to anything, but it's definitely not going to hurt things. And hopefully, as they start going out and maybe help mitigate some of the really risk of the elderly and the people that have compromised immune systems and things along those lines, that we can protect. Because I'll tell you, we didn't hide it. We Carrie and I both got COVID. I virtually didn't. I had very, very, very minor symptoms. So I'm very fortunate, I guess. But the thing for me that was the best about it is that we didn't give it to our parents. We quarantined immediately and took it serious. And, was it fun sitting at home for 2 weeks? No, it is not fun being in your house. Some people will joke around and say, oh man, I wish I could just, 2 weeks and just kind of have a staycation. I don't know how y'all do it, because I need to leave. I need to leave the house. It's I don't want to go through it again. So it was, I felt good. Like this morning, I was doing some clean at the center, and I went to a local hardware store because I wanted to get a carpet shampooer and stuff like that. And like, I was like, this is really weird being out today. Like I felt like I was breaking the law or something. I'm like, I'm good to go out though. But we'll get through it. And I think, we talk so often. I mean, bowling's going to be there for us, gang. And the best thing that we talk about every time at the end of the feed, we're getting to that point here, is, if you can and they're open, support your proprietors right now. They need us, especially all of us that are on these feeds, because, we got a lot of individuals that come on these feeds that are league bowlers or bowling tournaments and stuff. But, just going out right now and maybe throwing a couple extra practice games when you can to support them. Small business, the pro shops need you guys as well. They hurt through all this, and, my heart aches for the, out West, which is even, worse in terms of pro shops and stuff, being down a couple months, and, these guys have been down 8-9 months. It's some serious stuff. So, support when you can. Small business is important right now, and if we support that, we will be here in the end and get to enjoy watching, Dave go out there and try to beat Couch. And, I'm definitely calling Parker after this, because I'm going to tell him what you said. And I'm going to get the camaraderie going. You know how Parker's dry sense of humor is.
You know what you're going to have to do? You're going to have to get me, Couch, and Parker all on a feed once. I'm pretty sure I can make that happen.
Yeah, that should happen, because I'm going way back here. I'm going to tell one more story, okay? And then we'll try to respect your time tonight, though, too, Dave. But so when I was a younger player, I first bowled a PBA regional. I want to say I was probably 17, and I had went adult. I graduated early, young age, just because of when my birthday fell. And at that time, Parker, Jason, Tim, Chris, back at Cedar Lanes in Lebanon, PA, these were like mainstay guys. They were there at every single one of them. And I just vividly remember going to dinner. There was a little bar right down the hill from the bowling center called Eli's, and being 17 years old and listening to Parker and Couch go back and forth honestly, I never laughed that much in my life. Just the things these guys said to each other. And it was like, I think that's the first time that I really felt like, man, these are just regular guys. You know what I mean? Like, these are guys I idolized, growing up, watching them throw the ball and stuff. And, they're just normal guys like you and I, you know what I mean? It's crazy, and it makes me feel good, because, like now, I get to, I talk to Parker all the time, and have gotten really close to him over the years, and, some other players, and and as I interact with everybody more, I just find out this is just a bunch of guys that are just as sarcastic and like to have fun as I do. So it's, that's what makes it fun. But
it's a bunch of guys that love to play a game, and they're passionate about it and have a good time with it. That's really what this is. We get paid to be in an industry that we love. That's really what it comes down to. I mean, let's be honest. Nobody in the bowling industry is getting rich. Let's just be honest about that. We all do it because we can make a living at it, and we love it, and we're passionate about it. And that's really what drives me. I mean, that's what drives me to be good at what I do, whether it's on the lanes competing or off the lanes doing my job for the brands of Brunswick. The passion I have for the sport is what drives me to do that.
It does me too. I mean, it's, and being healthy, man, bowling healthy is important, and I am so excited to just compete, and I didn't have the greatest of tournaments here the last couple I entered, and you know what?
Is your broken finger healed?
Yes. You know what? She felt so bad for that, and that was probably the most, like, I've had knee injuries and back and stuff like that. That's kind of like nagging when you're trying to compete, but when your freaking fingers dislocated right before you walk in the building, that was not good. I should not have even started that event, but we drove the whole way there.
The lanes weren't exactly easy that day either.
Oh, they were China.
Yeah. Only took 80 under to make it. Yeah, they were
on short. Yeah, on short, where usually the scores are astronomical, but especially if you managed to bowl more than 150 on 23 and 24, you did something right, because that pair was freaking it was not. I like to describe that as sport compliant approaches, because you couldn't. You want to make lanes hard. Don't worry about making the pattern hard. Mess the approaches up. I guarantee you that'll make scoring pace go low. That's how you can combat this whole thing. But anyway, Dave, we're at an hour, man. I really thoroughly, enjoy the conversation. It's, we joke around on here just like we would any other time we're texting back and forth or, calling and working through this. But, I'm looking forward to seeing you compete. Hopefully, there's no delays in the schedules and stuff like that. And for anybody that's, dropped in here and watching, you can see all across that Mike Calhoun just, dropped in here, God, I haven't heard from Mike in a long time here, but we definitely do love Wodka here, as he put above here. He loves himself some DW. Tommy Graham stopping in. We're all over the place. Look, just a bunch of guys, love the sport. We're here to support it. So whether it's the Outlook Solid that we talked about today and along those other things, if you have further questions for us, please, by all means, reach out to me, reach out to Dave, reach out to any of the product specialists in your area or staffers that may be in your area about these balls. And if you don't get the answer, right away, or you want to bounce some additional ideas, by all means, reach out to us. We'll take care of you for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Anybody in here, if you guys ever have any questions, feel free to reach out to me through Facebook Messenger. Anybody that knows me will tell you I'm about the easiest person in the world to get a hold of. It's almost like I don't sleep. So just reach out to me if you got questions. I'll get back to you, and really do appreciate everybody taking the time to spend some time with me. It's always a fun time. I love doing these feeds and definitely can't wait to get back on again.
Absolutely. And you have a line a mile long for the over-unders once you turn 50, Dave. But if you get like 74 people down the list and you're in a bind, I'm your guy, brother. I'm always there for you if you need some help. But again,
appreciate that.
Hey, buy Brunswick bowling balls, support your local proprietors and pro shops, and tune in on Thursday night for us. We're going to get to throw this ball down the lane a little bit with DJ and Carrie. And stay tuned. Definitely we'll announce soon what we're going to do on the feed for next week as well. All right, gang. We're going to wrap it up for the night. Thank you much. Thank you, Dave. Have a good night, everybody.
Appreciate it. Good night, everybody. Thanks for joining.